My daughter can swim now, one Neuralite father told him, his colors bright with joy. Before, her carapace was too rigid. She would sink. Now she plays in water like your human children. Eventually, Taiwan managed to break away from the crowd. He found Yuna waiting near the refreshment table, where foods from both worlds were being served. A successful ceremony, she said as he approached. Though I notice you avoided mentioning the bathroom specifically. Taiwan smiled. Some details are better left to scientific papers than diplomatic speeches. Indeed, Yuna's colors shifted to the deeper blue that indicated thoughtfulness. When I first came to live with you, I never imagined how much I would learn about humans, or how much humans would learn from us. That first day, you thought my uniform was part of my body. Taiwan recalled. Now you're helping design new medical treatments based on human skin properties. And you, Yuna replied, once found our color changing distracting. Now you wear clothing with embedded pigments that respond to temperature, a human homage to our communication style. Taiwan looked down at his special formal uniform, which indeed changed subtle color patterns as the room temperature shifted. It was the newest fashion on Earth, inspired by Neuralite biology. We still have much to learn from each other, he said. Yuna's colors brightened. That reminds me. I have something to show you. She led him away from the celebration to a quiet corridor where a new plaque had been installed. It was simple but elegant, with text in both human and Neuralite languages. The Park Venlith Dermal Research Center, established 2137, where accidental exposure led to mutual understanding. Taiwan read it twice, then burst out laughing. They named it after us, and they almost mentioned the bathroom incident. Almost, Yuma agreed, her colors showing amusement. I suggested the wording myself. Dignified, yet accurate. As they returned to the celebration, Taiwan reflected on how differently things might have turned out. If he had been embarrassed or angry when Yuna walked in on him, if she had turned away instead of asking questions, if either of them had been too uncomfortable to discuss the misunderstanding, none of this would have happened. Later that evening, as the celebration wound down, Director Jin found Taiwan on the observation deck, looking out at the stars. The official announcement comes tomorrow, she said without preamble, but I thought you should know first. You've been promoted to Chief of Interspecies Relations for the entire Earth Alliance. Taiwan turned to her in surprise. That's a huge position. Are you sure I'm qualified? Jin smiled. Anyone who can turn being seen naked into a diplomatic triumph is qualified for anything. As he continued to look out at the stars, Taiwan thought about the journey of the past 6 months. From embarrassment came curiosity. From curiosity came understanding. From understanding came healing. And from healing came true friendship between different worlds. Sometimes the most profound connections begin with the most human moments, even when one of the parties isn't human at all. Retriclaude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses. Sometimes the most important scientific discoveries happen by accident, Jin replied. Fleming discovered penicillin because he left a Petri dish uncovered. You discovered interspecies understanding because you left your bathroom door unlocked. Taiwan laughed. Not exactly the same thing. The results speak for themselves, Jin said, gesturing to the treatment room. 327 Neuralite children have received successful treatment for carapace rigidity syndrome. The success rate is nearly 90%. Inside the treatment room, medical staff from both species worked together smoothly. Human doctors checked readings while Neuralite specialists applied the dermal-based medications to the children's outer layers. The room was bright with the blue-green pulses of happy Neuralite families. The research has gone beyond CRS now, Jin continued. The Neuralites are applying what they've learned about human skin flexibility to improve their spacesuits, enhance their medical treatments, even develop new artistic techniques. And humans have benefited too, Taiwan added. The synthetic carapace material they developed for severe burn victims has saved hundreds of lives already. Their conversation was interrupted by a station-wide announcement. All personnel, please report to the main hall for the Unity celebration in 30 minutes. Tae-won checked his formal uniform one last time. As the accidental catalyst for the breakthrough, he would play a central role in today's ceremony. "Nervous about your speech?" Jin asked as they walked toward the main hall. "A little," Tae-won admitted. "It's not every day you address the Earth President and the Neuralite High Council about seeing you naked." Jin chuckled. "Just stick to the diplomatic version." The main hall had been transformed for the occasion. Earth and Neuralite symbols hung side by side. The large space was divided into environmental sections, some areas warmer and more humid for Neuralite comfort, others set to human preferences. As Tae-won took his place on the stage, he spotted Yuna in the front row. No longer just his assistant, she now served as chief cultural liaison for the entire station. Her carapace displayed the formal patterns of her new rank, but she still pulsed a friendly blue when she caught his eye. Ambassador Vox spoke first, his voice carrying through the hall. "Today we celebrate not just scientific advancement, but a new understanding between our peoples. 6 months ago, a simple misunderstanding." He paused, his colors showing amusement, revealed that our species had fundamental misconceptions about each other. What followed was not embarrassment or conflict, but curiosity, learning, and healing. The Earth President spoke next, praising the medical breakthroughs and the unprecedented cooperation between humans and Neuralites. Then it was Tae-won's turn. He approached the podium, looking out at the mixed audience of humans and Neuralites. 6 months ago, they would have been clearly separated, each group uncomfortable with the other. Now they mingled freely, some humans even displaying color patterns painted on their clothes as a sign of respect for Neuralite culture. "When I was assigned to Harmony Station," Tae-won began, "I was told to avoid cultural misunderstandings at all costs. But it was precisely a cultural misunderstanding that brought us here today." He went on to describe how the incident had revealed both physical and cultural differences between their species, how humans viewed skin as personal and private, while Neuralites saw their carapace as both protection and communication. He carefully avoided mentioning the bathroom directly, instead referring to an unexpected revelation of human physiology. "Our differences seemed like barriers," he continued. "Humans felt uncomfortable being studied. Neuralites were hurt by what they perceived as rejection of their highest form of respect. But by talking openly about these differences, we found something more important: our shared desire to learn, to heal, and to understand each other." As he finished his speech, the audience applauded. The Neuralites pulsed with bright colors of approval, a sight that still amazed Tae-won with its beauty. The ceremony continued with the unveiling of a new monument, a sculpture showing a human hand and a Neuralite appendage reaching toward each other. Unlike traditional monuments, this one was alive. The Neuralite section was made from living carapace material that changed colors with the station's mood, while the human section was made from a new synthetic skin that responded to temperature changes just like human goosebumps. After the formal ceremony ended, Tae-won found himself surrounded by well-wishers from both species. Several Neuralite parents brought their children forward to meet him, youngsters who could now live normal lives thanks to the treatments. The next day, Tae-won attended an emergency meeting with Ambassador Vox, Chief Scientist Minho, Director Jin, and several human representatives, including Jun and Hyun. The atmosphere was tense as the humans voiced their concerns. Tae-won watched the Neuralites' colors shift rapidly, a sign of distress and confusion. When everyone had spoken, Ambassador Vox rose slowly. "I must offer our sincere apologies. We have committed a grave cultural error." "Ambassador." Director Jin looked surprised. "Among Neuralites, to study another's biological characteristics is the highest form of respect," Vox explained. "It is something done only with close family members or medical practitioners. When we asked to study humans, we thought we were honoring you with our most sacred form of connection." This revelation changed the mood in the room. The human representatives exchanged glances. You mean all these tests and observations? They're how you show respect? Jun asked skeptically. Indeed, Chief Scientist Minho confirmed. To share biological knowledge is the deepest form of trust in our culture. We did not realize humans view physical privacy differently. Taiwan seized the opportunity to bridge the gap. Perhaps we need better guidelines, ones that respect both Neuralite scientific interests and human comfort levels. Over the next few hours, they drafted a new research protocol. All studies would be strictly voluntary. Personal boundaries would be clearly established. Most importantly, educational sessions would be held for both species to understand the cultural implications of their biological differences. As the meeting concluded, Ambassador Vox approached Taiwan privately. Officer Park, your accidental revelation has changed everything for our people. The research may save thousands of Neuralite children with CRS. I'm glad something good came from such an awkward moment, Taiwan replied. More than you know, Vox said, his colors shifting to a solemn gray-blue. My youngest daughter suffers from severe carapace rigidity syndrome. Without treatment, she would not survive to adulthood. Now, because of what we've learned from humans, she has hope. Taiwan was stunned. I had no idea, Ambassador. Few know. But I tell you this so you understand the true importance of what your exposure has started. The next week, Taiwan attended the first clinical trial as requested. A young Neuralite child named Sora, only 5 years old by Earth standards, sat nervously as doctors prepared the treatment. Her carapace was dull and inflexible, with visible cracks that looked painful. Chief Scientist Minho explained the procedure to Taiwan. We've synthesized proteins based on human sweat gland mechanisms. They should help her carapace become more flexible and responsive. Taiwan watched as they applied the treatment, a clear gel that was absorbed into the child's outer layer. For several minutes, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the areas where the gel had been applied began to change color, shifting from dull gray to a healthier blue. The medical team erupted in excited color displays. Sora's parents, standing nearby, pulsed with intense blue-green patterns that Taiwan had learned indicated deep joy. It's working, Minho said, his voice filled with emotion. Her carapace is responding. That evening, a celebration was held in the station's main hall. Human and Neuralite crew members mingled more freely than ever before. Even Jun and Hyun seemed to be enjoying themselves, engaged in animated conversation with several Neuralite scientists. Director Jin raised a glass in toast to unexpected discoveries and the courage to overcome cultural differences. Yuna, standing beside Taiwan, shifted to a bright, happy purple. Who would have thought that seeing you without your artificial covering would lead to saving Neuralite children? Taiwan laughed. Certainly not me. I just wanted to take a shower in peace. As the celebration continued around them, Taiwan realized something important. The most meaningful connections between different peoples didn't come from formal diplomacy or carefully planned initiatives. They came from moments of vulnerability, from accidents and misunderstandings that revealed their true differences and their shared humanity. Or in this case, their shared lack of a permanent outer carapace. Retri 6 months after the bathroom incident, Taiwan stood at the viewing window of Harmony Station's new medical center. The large facility had been built in record time, funded jointly by Earth's government and the Neuralite High Council. Through the glass, he could see young Neuralite children receiving treatments developed from human dermal research. Quite a change from when you first arrived, said Director Jin, joining him at the window. Taiwan nodded. Hard to believe all this started because I forgot to lock my bathroom door. That evening, as Taiwan and Yuna shared a meal in their quarters, him eating Earth food, her consuming Neuralite nutrients, he realized how much their relationship had changed. What began as an awkward cultural exchange had become a genuine partnership, all because of an embarrassing moment that revealed just how different, and yet how similar, their species really were. Retri 2 months after the bathroom incident, Harmony Station had transformed. What was once a simple diplomatic outpost now buzzed with scientific activity. The East Wing had been converted into research laboratories, where human and Neuralite scientists worked side by side, studying skin samples and running tests on voluntary human participants. Tae-won sat in Director Jin's office, reviewing the latest progress report. The director looked pleased as she scrolled through the data on her tablet. "The ambassador is calling it the Dermal Diplomacy Initiative," she said, unable to hide her smile. "Your naked mishap has become the cornerstone of our scientific cooperation." Tae-won winced. "I wish everyone would stop referring to it that way. History rarely remembers our dignified moments," Jin replied. "But results speak for themselves. Look at these numbers." She turned the tablet to show him. Over 50 Neuralite scientists had come to the station in the past month. Research funding had increased tenfold. Most importantly, early tests for treating carapace rigidity syndrome were showing promise. "Chief Scientist Minho wants you to attend the first clinical trial next week," Jin said. "They're using the synthetic protein inspired by human sweat glands to treat a young Neuralite with severe CRS. "Me? Why?" Tae-won asked, surprised. "You're the face of this initiative, whether you like it or not. The Neuralites see you as the bridge between our species." As Tae-won left the office, he noticed a group of humans gathered in the common area, looking unhappy. He recognized several of them from the engineering department. "Park, just the man we wanted to see," called out Jun, a tall engineer with a perpetual frown. "We need to talk about these research requests." Tae-won stopped. "What's the problem?" Jun handed him a tablet. "Look at this. They want skin samples from 30 more human volunteers. They're asking for sweat collection during exercise. Some scientists even requested to observe humans bathing." "That last request was denied immediately," Tae-won said, scanning the document. "But it was made in the first place," Jun exclaimed. "We're not lab specimens. We're engineers, diplomats, maintenance workers. We didn't sign up to be studied like animals in a zoo." Other humans nodded in agreement. Tae-won could see their frustration was genuine. "I understand your concerns," he said carefully. "I'll speak with the research team about respecting personal boundaries." "It's more than that," said another engineer named Hyun. "The Neuralites look at us differently now. They stare at our hands, our faces. Yesterday one asked if he could touch my arm to feel the hair. It's uncomfortable." Tae-won promised to address their concerns and continued toward his quarters, his mind troubled. The scientific breakthrough was important, but he hadn't considered how it might affect daily life for humans on the station. When he entered his living space, he found Yuna engaged in a video call with several high-ranking Neuralites. Her colors were bright with excitement, but she quickly ended the call when she saw him. "Officer Park, I have excellent news," she said. "The High Council has approved full funding for the Joint Research Initiative, and they want to honor you with the Order of Scientific Cooperation, the highest award a non-Neuralite can receive." "That's unexpected," Tae-won replied, still distracted by the engineer's complaints. Yuna noticed his subdued reaction. "You seem troubled. Has something happened?" Tae-won explained the concerns of the human crew members. Yuna listened carefully, her colors shifting to a thoughtful blue. "I see," she said when he finished. "We have been insensitive. In our excitement over the scientific discovery, we forgot that humans have different concepts of privacy and dignity." "It's not just that," Tae-won added. "Some humans feel reduced to their biology, like the only interesting thing about them is their skin." Yuna's colors darkened. "This was not our intention. For us, biological information is sacred. Sharing it is an act of profound trust and intimacy." "That's precisely why there's a disconnect," Tae-won explained. "What feels respectful to Neuralites feels invasive to humans. Yes, or sometimes strong emotions like fear." Minho's colors pulsed with excitement. "And your perspiration system, it releases water through the skin to cool your body." "That's right. We call it sweating." The neuralights in the room all displayed color changes indicating strong emotion. Ambassador Vox turned to Director Jin. Your species has evolved with direct environmental adaptation capabilities that are automatic and immediate. This is extraordinary. Director Jin looked pleased but confused. Don't neuralights have similar adaptations? No, Minho explained. Our carapace protects us, but it changes slowly. We cannot rapidly adjust to environmental conditions. We must either endure or leave unsuitable environments. One of the other neuralite scientists spoke up. For generations, we have suffered from a condition called carapace rigidity syndrome. It prevents proper adaptation to environmental changes and affects 1 in 50 neuralite children. Your skin's adaptability might hold the key to treatment. Taewon began to understand why his shower incident had caused such excitement. You think studying human skin could help neuralite children? Potentially, Minho said. The principles behind your automatic responses could revolutionize our medical approach to CRS. After the meeting, a formal research agreement was drafted. Human and neuralite scientists would work together to study dermal adaptability, with the goal of developing treatments for carapace rigidity syndrome. Back in their quarters, Yuna seemed different, more animated than Taewon had ever seen her. You've been promoted? Taewon asked, noticing an additional marking on her official insignia. Yes, she said, her colors bright with pride. I am now classified as a senior cultural discovery specialist. My accidental observation has been deemed the most significant xenobiological discovery of the past 5 years. Taewon couldn't help but laugh. All because you walked in on me in the bathroom. It illustrates an important principle in scientific discovery, Yuna said seriously. Major breakthroughs often occur through unexpected observations rather than planned experimentation. Over the following days, Harmony Station buzzed with activity. A special research team arrived from Earth, bringing equipment for detailed study of human skin characteristics. Several neuralite specialists also came aboard, setting up laboratories dedicated to comparing human and neuralite biological responses. Taewon found himself invited to countless meetings and briefings. At one particularly memorable session, he watched in amazement as human scientists demonstrated goosebumps, sweating, and blushing to an audience of captivated neuralites. The speed of your dermal responses is remarkable, one neuralite researcher commented. Our carapace takes days to adjust to similar stimuli. Not everyone was thrilled with the new focus on human skin. Some humans on the station complained about feeling like lab rats and objected to the constant requests for samples and tests. It's dehumanizing, complained one engineer to Taewon in the dining hall. They look at us like we're fascinating specimens instead of people. Taewon understood the concern. It's a culture shock for both sides. They've never encountered beings who can change their outer layer at will. But you're not just a piece of skin, are you? Yuna asked later when Taewon mentioned these complaints. You are a complete being with thoughts and feelings. Is this not understood? Taewon smiled. It's understood, but sometimes people feel reduced to just their biology when they're being studied so intensely. Yuna's colors shifted to a thoughtful purple. Among my people, sharing biological information is considered deeply intimate. Perhaps this is why humans feel uncomfortable. You are sharing something that, for us, would only be shared with family or medical practitioners. This perspective helped Taewon develop new guidelines for the research initiative, ensuring that human participants felt respected rather than objectified. By the end of the month, preliminary research results were promising. The neuralite team had identified several mechanisms in human skin that might be adapted to help children with carapace rigidity syndrome. Your small bathroom incident may end up saving thousands of neuralite lives, Director Jin told Taewon during their weekly review. I never imagined being seen naked would lead to diplomatic success, Taewon admitted. Diplomacy works in mysterious ways, Jin replied with a smile. Sometimes the most human moments create the strongest bonds between species. Yes, the concept of completely removable artificial coverings is unknown among my people. We have decorative additions to our carapace, but nothing that fully covers or replaces it. Tae-won considered this as he sipped his coffee. No wonder Yuna had been so shocked. I suppose you can discuss the scientific aspects, but please be discreet about the circumstances. Of course, the accidental nature of the observation will remain private. As Tae-won hurried out the door toward his meeting, he had no idea that this awkward bathroom encounter would soon become the talk of the entire station, not as a scandal, but as a scientific breakthrough that would transform human neuralite relations forever. Behind him, Yuna immediately activated her communication device. "Connect me to Chief Scientist Minho," she said urgently. "I have made a discovery about humans that changes everything we thought we knew." Retri Tae-won's presentation to the Neuralite delegation went well, but he couldn't ignore the strange atmosphere in the room. Several of the Neuralite officials kept staring at him with unusual intensity. Their skin colors shifted to deep blue whenever he spoke directly to them, the same color Yuna had displayed in the bathroom earlier. When the meeting ended, Director Jin pulled him aside. "Whatever you did, they're fascinated by you," she said. "Ambassador Vox has requested a private meeting tomorrow." Tae-won nodded, not wanting to explain what had happened. "I'll be prepared, Director." When he returned to his quarters that evening, he found Yuna waiting with an unusual expression, her skin pulsing between shades of blue and green. "Officer Park, I must apologize for a breach of protocol," she said formally. "I shared the physiological observations with Chief Scientist Minho, but the information has spread more widely than anticipated." Tae-won set down his bag. "What do you mean?" "The entire Neuralite scientific community on the station is discussing human skin characteristics. They have requested formal scientific observation sessions. They want to study my skin." Tae-won asked, uncomfortable with the idea. "Not just yours," Yuna explained. "All human dermal features. The discovery that humans have adaptable, responsive skin tissue rather than a fixed protective layer has enormous implications." Before Tae-won could respond, his communicator beeped. It was Director Jin. "Park, whatever you did has caused quite a stir. The Neuralite science team has submitted an urgent request for a joint biological research initiative focused on human dermal characteristics. Ambassador Vox called it potentially the most significant advancement in xenobiology this decade. Can you explain what's going on?" Tae-won sighed. "It's a bit embarrassing, Director. Yuna accidentally saw me, undressed, after my shower this morning. Apparently, Neuralites didn't understand that our clothes aren't part of our bodies." There was silence on the other end. Then Director Jin burst into laughter. "You're telling me that all this excitement is because an alien saw you naked?" "Essentially, yes," Tae-won admitted, his face growing hot. "They thought our uniforms were like their carapace, a permanent part of us." "This is priceless," Jin said, still chuckling. "But seriously, this could be a major breakthrough in relations. The Neuralites have always been hesitant to share biological information. If your exposure has opened a door for scientific cooperation, we need to follow through." The next morning, Tae-won found himself in a meeting room with Ambassador Vox, Chief Scientist Minho, Director Jin, and several other officials from both species. Yuna sat nearby, her role elevated from household assistant to cultural interpreter. Ambassador Vox spoke first. His carapace was an impressive array of blue and gold patterns, indicating his high status. "Officer Park, your willingness to share biological information with Yuna of House Venlith has created an opportunity for unprecedented cooperation between our peoples." Tae-won shifted uncomfortably. "I'm happy to help advance our understanding, Ambassador, though the circumstances were accidental." Chief Scientist Minho stepped forward. Unlike the ambassador, his carapace was simpler, with subtle patterns that shifted slightly as he moved. "Officer Park, may I ask some direct questions about human physiology?" "Of course," Tae-won replied, trying to sound professional despite feeling like a specimen under examination. These goosebumps that Yuna observed, they appear automatically in response to temperature. Taiwan looked at the time. 7:45. He had significantly less time than planned. Yuma, he called out. The meeting's been moved up. I need to hurry. He didn't hear her response over the bathroom fan. Rushing to read the rest of Jin's message, he didn't notice the bathroom door sliding open. Officer Park, I have received notification of the schedule change. Your beverage is. Yuna stopped mid-sentence as she entered, carrying his coffee mug in one of her 4 hands. For a moment, they both froze in surprise. Tae-won stood there, wet hair dripping onto his shoulders, the small towel wrapped loosely around his waist. Most of his body was exposed, his chest, arms, legs, and back all visible to Yuna's large, unblinking eyes. I apologize for the intrusion, Yuna said after a moment, but she didn't turn away. Instead, her skin began to pulse with rapid color changes, shifting from blue to green to purple and back again. Tae-won clutched the towel tighter, feeling his face grow hot with embarrassment. It's okay. I should have locked the door. Could you please? But Yuna wasn't moving. She simply stared, her colors continuing to shift in what Ta-won now recognized as the neuralite sign of extreme emotional response. Yuma, he said uncertainly. She stepped forward, setting down the coffee mug on the counter. One of her hands lifted slightly, as if she wanted to touch him, then quickly withdrew. Your outer covering, it is not permanent, she finally asked, her voice containing a note Ta-won had never heard before, something like wonder mixed with confusion. My outer. Oh, you mean my skin? Yes, this is my skin, Ta-won explained, still very aware of his near nakedness. The towel is just cloth to dry myself. But your previous outer layer. The blue uniform. Tae-won suddenly understood the confusion. Those are clothes, Yuma. They're not part of my body. Humans wear different artificial coverings that we can change. Yuna's colors pulsed even more rapidly. You can remove your outer layer at will and replace it with different materials. Yes, of course. Don't neuralites have any form of clothing? Yuna seemed to be processing this information with great difficulty. Our protective carapace grows with us from birth. It adapts and changes color with our emotional and physical states, but it cannot be removed without causing severe injury or death. Now it was To-won's turn to be surprised. You mean your skin is like permanent clothing? Not exactly. It is living tissue, but yes, it serves similar purposes to your artificial coverings. Her eyes moved over his exposed skin with scientific curiosity. Your actual flesh is so reactive. As if on cue, goosebumps appeared on Ta-won's arms from the cool air in the bathroom. Yuna gasped. Your surface is changing texture. How is this possible? Tae-won looked down at his arms. Oh, these are just goosebumps. They happen when I'm cold. It's an automatic response. Automatic textural adaptation without conscious control. Yuna's voice was filled with amazement. And these markings. She gestured toward a small scar on his shoulder. That's a scar from when I was injured as a child. Our skin heals, but sometimes leaves marks. Yuna's colors had settled into a deep, vibrant blue that Ta-won had never seen before. This is revolutionary information, Officer Park. Suddenly remembering the time, Ta-won glanced at his communicator. I really need to get dressed for that meeting. Could you give me some privacy? Of course, Yuna said, backing toward the door, though her eyes remained fixed on him. I will. Prepare your materials for transport. After she left, Ta-won quickly dried off and dressed in his formal uniform. When he emerged from his room, Yuna was waiting with his briefcase and a fresh cup of coffee. Thank you, he said, taking the items from her. The awkwardness between them was palpable. Officer Park, Yuna said as he prepared to leave, may I request permission to discuss what I observed with my scientific liaison? The biological differences I witnessed have significant implications for our understanding of human physiology. Tai-1 hesitated. You want to tell other neuralites about seeing me naked, not about the social circumstance. Yuna clarified quickly, her color shifting to a lighter blue. About the biological revelations, we had fundamentally misunderstood human physiology. We believe your uniforms were part of your bodies, an evolutionary adaptation similar to our carapace. Tai-1 was stunned. You thought our clothes were part of us, like grown from our bodies. Tai-1 took a cautious bite and was surprised by the pleasant, slightly sweet flavor with hints of something like mint. This is delicious. It is a child's dish, Yuma explained. Simple flavors. Adults prefer more complexity, but this serves as an introduction. They sat at the small dining table, Tai-1 continuing to enjoy the alien food, while Yuna watched him with those unblinking eyes. Tomorrow, Tai-1 said between bites, we have an orientation meeting with Director Jin at 900. After that, I thought perhaps you could show me how to properly prepare for meeting with the Neuralite ambassador next week. That would be wise, Yuna replied. Human greeting customs could cause offense if performed incorrectly. Like what? Tai-1 asked. For example, showing bare skin is considered extremely intimate among neuralites. We never remove our outer covering in public. Tai-1 nodded. I'll make sure my uniform is properly buttoned then. Do humans remove their coverings often? Yuna asked, curiosity evident in her voice. Well, we change clothes daily. And of course for bathing and sleeping, we wear different things or sometimes nothing at all in private, Tai-1 explained, not realizing how strange this might sound to a being whose skin was essentially permanent. Yuna's color shifted to a pale blue that Tai-1 couldn't interpret. Fascinating. This was not in our cultural briefing materials. The evening continued with more exchanges of basic cultural information. Tai-1 learned that neuralites rested by entering a meditative state for short periods rather than sleeping for long stretches. Yuma discovered that humans used water not just for cleansing, but also for recreation. Swimming, for enjoyment? She asked, clearly puzzled. Yes, many humans love being in water, Tai-1 explained. Don't neuralites swim? Only for necessity, she replied. Though the salt pools are pleasant for healing and maintenance. As the station's lighting dimmed to simulate evening, Tai-1 fought back a yawn. I should rest soon. Humans need about 8 hours of sleep each night. 8 hours of unconsciousness. Yuna seemed shocked. How do you maintain awareness of your surroundings? We don't, Tai-1 said with a smile. That's why we have secure quarters. Yuna made another complex gesture with her hands. I will use this time to send my initial observations to the cultural office. Your sleeping period provides efficient time for my reports. As Tai-1 prepared for bed, he reflected on their first day together. Despite the initial misunderstanding about their roles, he felt optimistic about working with Yuna. There would be challenges ahead, but also discoveries that could benefit both species. What he couldn't possibly know was how one simple, everyday human habit would soon lead to the biggest breakthrough in human neuralite relations since first contact. Rachel, 3 weeks passed since Yuna arrived at Harmony Station. Life with a neuralite roommate had brought daily surprises for Tai-1. He learned that Yuna needed to stand in her salt pool for exactly 17 minutes each afternoon, her 4 feet submerged while her skin absorbed minerals. She learned that humans became irritable without coffee, a concept she found both amusing and primitive. This morning was especially busy. The quarterly diplomatic summit between humans and neuralites would begin in just 2 hours, and Tai-1 had overslept after staying up late preparing his presentation. Officer Park, your alarm has sounded 3 times, Yuna called through his bedroom door. The meeting preparations require your attention. Tai-1 jumped out of bed, his usually neat black hair sticking up in all directions. I'll be right out. Can you check if my formal uniform is ready? It is pressed and waiting in the common area, Yuna replied. I will prepare your morning caffeine ritual while you clean yourself. Taewon smiled despite his rush. Yuna always referred to his shower as the cleaning ritual and his coffee as the caffeine ritual. Her formal way of speaking was gradually becoming endearing rather than strange. He hurried into the bathroom, turned on the shower, and stepped under the hot water. The steam helped clear his mind as he mentally reviewed his presentation points. This would be his first time addressing the full Neuralite delegation, and he wanted to make a good impression. His communicator beeped urgently from the counter. Taewon cursed under his breath. That specific tone meant a message from Director Jin, his supervisor. He quickly rinsed the soap from his body, turned off the water, and grabbed a towel. Wrapping it around his waist, he reached for the communicator with still dripping hands. The message made his heart sink. Meeting moved up by 30 minutes due to Ambassador Vox's schedule change. Be at conference room A by 8:30 instead of 900. Bring all prepared materials. Officer Taewon Park looked out the viewport at Earth below. The blue planet seemed small from Harmony Station, the large space facility orbiting the moon. He sighed, running his fingers through his short black hair. After 3 years in the diplomatic corps, this assignment was his biggest yet. Final check of living quarters complete, Officer Park, said the station eye in a pleasant voice. Your residence meets all requirements for both human comfort and Neuralite diplomatic protocol. Thank you, Araya. Taewon replied, straightening his uniform. The blue and silver outfit with Earth Alliance insignia still felt new and stiff. He walked around the apartment one more time. The station had given him larger quarters than most officers because of his special assignment. The main room had standard furniture, but also featured several unusual items. A shallow pool of salt water built into the floor, air that was slightly more humid than humans typically preferred, and special lighting that shifted subtly throughout the day. Taewon checked his watch. His Neuralite assistant would arrive any minute now. This cultural exchange program was new. Humans and Neuralites working and living together to build understanding between species. First contact had happened only 18 months ago, and relationships were still developing. The doorbell chimed with a gentle tone. Taewon took a deep breath and pressed the entry button. The door slid open to reveal his new roommate and assistant. The Neuralite stood about his height, with slender limbs, 4 of them, and skin that shifted between blue and green depending on how the light hit it. Large, unblinking eyes looked at him with what he hoped was curiosity rather than judgment. Greetings, Officer Park. I am Yuna of House Fenlith, assigned to your household for the Cultural Exchange Initiative, she said in perfect English, though her voice had an unusual musical quality to it. She bowed formally, all 4 arms folded across her chest in what Taewon recognized as a traditional Neuralite greeting. Welcome, Yuna, he said, returning the bow but with human arms. Please come in. I hope your journey was comfortable. Yuna stepped inside, her movements graceful and fluid. The transport was adequate. I have studied human living arrangements, but have not experienced them directly until now. Her head tilted as she examined the room. You have included a saltwater basin. This shows consideration. Taewon smiled. I wanted you to feel at home. The orientation materials mention Neuralites need regular contact with salt water. Yes, it helps maintain our outer layer, Yuna explained, gesturing to her shimmering skin. Without it, our protective covering would become uncomfortable. Taewon showed her around the quarters. This will be your room, he said, stopping at a door. I had it set up with the environmental controls at Neuralite standard settings, but you can adjust them however you like. Yuna looked inside. The room was simple but had been modified with her needs in mind. The bed was wider and lower than a human one, and a small pool took up one corner. This is more than adequate, she said, and Taewon thought he detected surprise in her voice. I was informed that humans prefer minimal accommodations for service personnel. You're not service personnel, Taewon corrected gently. You're a cultural ambassador, same as me. We're colleagues. Yuna's skin shifted slightly to a deeper blue. Taiwan had been briefed that this indicated thoughtfulness among Neuralites. That is not how the arrangement was described to me, she said. I was told I would serve as your household assistant while learning human customs. Taiwan frowned. There seems to be a misunderstanding. While you'll help me understand Neuralite customs, and I'll help you with human ones, we're equals in this exchange. Yuna's forehands made a complex gesture that Taiwan didn't recognize. Interesting. Different cultural interpretations from the beginning. This confirms the necessity of our program. They continued the tour. In the kitchen area, Taiwan showed her the special food preparation equipment that had been installed for Neuralite cuisine. I've loaded the synthesizer with Neuralite recipes, but I'm not sure how accurate they are, he admitted. Yuna approached the machine and examined it. This appears functional. Have you tried Neuralite food, Officer Park? Please, call me Taiwan, he said. And no, I haven't had the opportunity yet. Would you like to? I could prepare a simple dish that humans find palatable. Taiwan nodded eagerly. I'd like that very much. He watched as Yuna operated the synthesizer with practiced movements of her forearms, working with impressive coordination. Within minutes, she presented him with a small bowl containing what looked like blue rice with small green pieces mixed in.